Walked up the stairs to a rooftop cafe, coffee on my mind and stopped cold. There she was at a corner table, fingers laced with a guy I did not know, smiling like we had never shared a life. My heart kicked hard, then everything went quiet. I saw enough in 10 seconds to rewrite 2 years. A few months have passed, but that scene still sticks to my ribs. I have read stories like this on Reddit, thought I was above the mess. Turns out I was just next in line. The shock gave way to a slow burn, then a numb kind of clarity. We had been together almost 2 years. It looked solid from the outside, and most days it felt solid from the inside. We talked about moving in, splitting chores, saving for trips. I thought we were building something real, then she got distant. Fewer texts, short replies, plans that kept slipping. I asked if she was okay. She said she was busy, tired, the usual. I believed her, or I tried to. That Friday she said dinner with college friends, nothing big. I told myself to relax, grabbed my jacket and went out for air. One turn, one glance across that rooftop, and my life split into before and after. She leaned into him like I had never existed. I did not make a scene. No shouting, no questions. I pulled up my hood, bought a coffee I did not drink, and left. On the walk home, my chest felt hollow, but my mind was sharp. When I got back, I wiped our messages and photos, then blocked her everywhere. No speech, no final text. Silence felt heavy, but it also felt clean. That choice became my closure. Since then I have been lifting, working, and seeing the people who show up. Some nights the image hits me fresh, her laugh in the wind, his hand on hers. It stings, then it fades. Peace has a quiet sound once you let the noise go. Here is how it unfolded, what I learned from that night, and why I chose to walk away without a word. The full story starts with those stairs, that table, and a decision I did not expect to make. How our relationship seemed perfect before the betrayal. Before that rooftop, our story looked steady. We had rhythm. We had inside jokes, routines that made the weeks feel lighter, and small rituals that felt like promises. That is what stung the most. It felt real, right up until it didn't. The sweet moments that made me fall hard, we were not flashy. Our best days were built on simple things that stacked up like bricks. A few memories still play on loop when I let them. Her surprise birthday plan, she told me to be ready at 6, no questions. She picked me up with a cupcake and a paper crown. We drove to a small bowling alley, then hit a taco truck after. She handed me a handwritten card with a dumb drawing of us. I still remember the ink on her fingers. Storm night movie marathon, power cut out during a summer storm. We lit candles and used her laptop. We watched 2 old comedies under one blanket, ate cereal from the box, and fell asleep on the couch. I woke up with her hair in my face and thought, this is it. Sundays at the farmer's market, we had a routine. Coffee in hand, she picked flowers, I sampled peaches. We split a breakfast sandwich and argued about which hot sauce to buy. She always won. On the walk back, she'd hook her finger in my belt loop. The awkward Thanksgiving meet. She met my family early on. She laughed with my aunt, helped my mom in the kitchen, and pretended to love my uncle's stories. On the drive home, she squeezed my hand and said, your family is warm. It felt like the start of a real merge. Those moments felt clean and easy. No big drama, just 2 people showing up week after week, making small choices that looked like love, building a future together, our big plans. We were not just coasting. We had a plan, or at least the outline of one, and we talked about it like it was already in motion. Moving in, we made a shared notes list with furniture ideas, chore splits, and a budget cap. She liked bright rugs. I wanted a decent coffee setup. We planned to test a 3-month trial in a 1-bedroom close to work, then reassess. Travel goals. We had a pinboard with places we wanted to go. First, a long weekend in Portland for food and bookstores. Then a bigger trip to Lisbon if we hit our savings target. We even priced flights and looked at Airbnbs. It felt like something to work toward together. Money and habits. We talked about a joint savings pot for shared stuff. We agreed to toss in a set amount after payday. Groceries, dates, and a future couch fund. It made me feel like we were building a real life, not just burning cash on random nights out. Friends and family blend. We sketched out holidays to avoid stress. Thanksgiving with mine, Christmas with hers, then swap the next year. We planned a small game night with both friend groups to mix the circles. It felt like progress. Looking back, the blueprint was there. It was not perfect, but it was honest. We were choosing each other in all the normal ways that add up. That is why the switch to silence and distance hit so hard. It did not just kill a night, it cracked the future we had already started to speak into life. Red flags I wish I had noticed sooner. Looking back, the signs were not loud. They were small, quiet shifts that stacked up. On their own, each one looked like stress, new interests, or a busy week. Together, they spelled distance. I told myself to be trusting. I tried to be easygoing. I did not want to be that partner who checks everything and asks a million questions. Still, a few patterns kept popping up. If any of this feels familiar, it might help you sort signal from noise. The point is not to spy or accuse. It is to notice what your gut tried to tell you, then ask honest questions and protect your peace. Her sudden changes in schedule and habits. At first, the changes sounded harmless. Late nights for work, new hobbies, random plans. I wanted to support her, so I nodded along. Then the story started to blur. She had new routines that showed up fast and never stuck. A Pilates class on Tuesdays, but no membership, email, or mat. Drinks with old classmates, but no photos, no names I recognized, and no real details after. A team sprint at work that always seemed to run past 10 p.m., then a ride home she could not explain clearly. What threw me off was not the activities. It was the fog around them. When I asked simple questions, the answers were vague or copy-pasted. Vague plans. I might meet some friends later turned into hours gone and a tired text at midnight. New hobbies without proof. Weeks of talk about a pottery class but no schedule, no receipts, no vase on the counter, inconsistent timelines. She said she left at 8 but a photo she posted at 9:30 reflected in a window. Small but off solo time that grew more. I need a night to recharge, which is healthy until it became the default. I tried to be patient. People change routines, jobs get busy, but the shifts came with distance and the stories felt patched together. One change is normal. A chain of blurry changes is a pattern. If you feel this, track the facts, not the feelings. Write down times, plans, and what was said. You might see the same plot repeat, just with new labels. The phone that became her best friend. Everyone is glued to a phone. I am not innocent either. But her phone behavior flipped, and it flipped fast. She changed her lock code without telling me. She kept the screen face down at dinner. She started taking her phone to the bathroom and the shower, and the sound was always off. Notifications went silent for apps she used daily. When I walked into a room, the chat window would close with a quick swipe, then came the clean inbox. Threads that used to be there disappeared. Our chat history got trimmed. Shared photos vanished from her camera roll. She said she liked to clear storage or declutter, but only certain conversations were tidy. Here is what stood out even before I knew the rooftop truth: new passwords and tighter locks, normal if announced. Strange when it happens after a shift in behavior. Constant texting with no context. Laughs at the screen, no sharing of the joke, then a quick flip of the phone, deleted messages, not storage cleaning, just selective gaps that leave you with questions. Do not disturb on loop, useful for focus, odd when it never turns off. Privacy is healthy. Secrecy feels different. Privacy says I have my space. Secrecy says your eyes are a problem. If the phone becomes a wall instead of a tool, that is not nothing. I did not snoop. I did not go through her apps. I noticed the pattern and how it made me feel small. That feeling matters. Emotional distance creeping in. Before the rooftop, the first thing I felt was space. Not the good kind. The kind that shows up in small pauses and short replies. Affection dropped. Hugs were quicker. Kisses felt like a box to check. She stopped reaching for my hand when we crossed the street. Nights that used to end with a movie and a cuddle turned into her scrolling on one side and me on the other. We started arguing over crumbs, not because crumbs mattered but because we were drifting. Tone got sharp. Little habits turned into fights. The room felt tense even when no one said a word. Less softness, fewer "how was your day?" and more "I am tired, can we not?" Avoiding future talk. Plans for trips, moving in, even weekends got dodged or pushed. Short fuse, small mix-ups turned into bigger conflicts, then a cold shoulder intimacy dip. Fewer touches, more excuses, and a sense that I was a roommate, not a partner. Pullback can happen for many reasons like stress or health. The difference here was the mix. New secrets, new bedtime habits, and a steady slide away from us. I kept telling myself it would bounce back. It did not. If you feel that chill, do not ignore it. Ask clear questions. Set clear boundaries. You do not need a smoking gun to honor your own sanity. Your peace is worth more than a neat story that keeps changing. If you are reading this and think this sounds like my life, start with one step. Write down what you notice. Say what you need. If the answers twist and stall, believe the pattern. The night everything fell apart, catching her red-handed, that Friday carried a strange quiet. I could not shake it. Her story had holes and my chest felt tight like before a storm. I was not looking to catch anything. I wanted to feel normal again. Instead, I walked into a moment that ended our story in 10 seconds flat, my gut feeling that led me there. The shift had been building for weeks. That night it tipped. She said dinner with college friends, casual and early, no big plans. The tone was off, no outfit debate, no send me a pic of my hair, no playful energy, just a flat going out for a bit. Then came the text that sealed it. Heading out now, phone might die. She never said that. Her phone lived at 80% like it paid rent. She also shared a group photo that looked recycled, different nails from earlier that day, old jacket, the timestamp was cropped tight. It was not one thing, it was the stack. Little lies feel light on their own, then they start to lean. I grabbed my keys for a coffee run I did not need. I picked the new rooftop spot because it was close and open late. I told myself it would clear my head. I also knew it was the kind of place she liked for girls' nights. Cute lights, good angles, easy posts. Here's what pushed me out the door: an off-script excuse. Phone might die from a person who carried a charger everywhere. Mismatched photo, details from a different day like a bad rerun. A sudden plan with no names. College friends with zero specifics. Energy that did not match the story. Not excited, just eager to be gone. Gut feelings are not proof, but they are not random. Your body catches patterns your brain tries to defend. Mine had been waving a flag for days. That night I finally looked, the heart-stopping moment of discovery. The stairs to the rooftop were narrow and bright. I could hear glasses clink and a playlist humming. Warm bulbs hung over small tables and plants curled around the railing. It felt like a date night ad. I stepped into the light and scanned for a seat. I saw her first, the way you spot someone you love in a crowd. She was at a corner table by the edge, half in shadow, half in gold light. Her smile was easy, not the tired smile I had seen lately. The kind that reaches the eyes. His hand was on hers, not accidental. Fingers laced, thumbs stroking like they had done this before. She leaned in to listen, then laughed and touched his arm. That small lean told me everything. It was intimate, practiced, and soft. My body went still. No words came out. My heart hit the inside of my ribs in short, hard knocks. Sound dropped like someone put the world on mute. I stood there with a dumb coffee menu in my hand, stuck between fight and freeze. I watched for maybe 10 seconds. It felt like a full hour, the way a car crash feels slow even though it is not. She tucked hair behind her ear. He said something close to her face. They had that glow people get when they forget the room. I did not walk over. I did not say her name. I did not need to confirm what my eyes already knew. I pulled up my hood, ordered a coffee I would not drink, and turned away. I took the stairs down one by one like the ground might move if I rushed. Outside, the air felt colder than it should. My hands remembered how to move before my brain did. I sipped nothing, then tossed the cup and kept walking. No tears, no anger yet, just a clean, sharp line where we ended. That scene burned itself in. The lights, the table, her laugh that used to belong to me. It hurt in a quiet way, like biting down on ice. But it also gave me a clear exit. I saw enough. On the walk home, I decided on silence. No show, no begging for context, no chasing a story that would only twist. At my door, I chose peace over proof. I wiped the photos, cleared the chats, blocked the numbers, and shut the book. If you have been there, you know the freeze. You feel both heavy and hollow. You look normal on the outside while your life redraws itself inside your chest. That night took 10 seconds, then it took months. But it gave me the clarity I could not get from 100 talks. Sometimes the loudest answer is the one you do not ask for. The explosive confrontation and her excuses. I did not blow up on that rooftop. The confrontation happened in the aftermath with her texts and my silence. The scene was public enough to sting. Bright lights, clinking glasses, and me frozen with a coffee menu while she laughed with him. That moment was louder than any argument I chose not to walk over. But the fallout still came, just without a crowd or a speech. What followed were short messages, clipped excuses, and the kind of denial that tries to rewrite what you saw with your own eyes. Words we couldn't take back. The first words were not shouted across a table. They arrived the next morning from an unknown number. "Did you block me? What's wrong? Why are you acting weird?" I didn't do anything. Lines told me everything, not curiosity, not honesty, just a quick reset to pretend nothing happened. I did not reply, not then, not later. My silence was the only response that made sense. In that quiet, a few truths settled in. I replayed those 10 seconds at the cafe, then those texts. The contrast was brutal. Her eyes happy with him the night before. Her denial wrapped in 2 messages by noon. The gap was the point. Here's what played out. No drama needed. Denial. I didn't do anything. A clean dodge, no effort to own the night. Minimize. Hint that it was casual or just a friend. Even though I saw their hands, blame shift, calling me weird for going quiet instead of facing what happened. Control. A push to get me to explain myself so the story could move on her terms. There were no long back and forths. No let me explain paragraphs I needed to read. I kept the boundary clean. I had already seen more truth than a confession could give me. The public part was awkward in its own quiet way. A full room, warm lights, and my body locked in place. A server walked by, chairs scraped, nothing dramatic happened, and that made it worse. Their date kept going while my stomach dropped. No tears that night. Those came later, small and short, when the house was still and the noise in my head got loud. If you have felt that kind of silence, you know how heavy it gets. You hear the words you did not say more than the ones you did. And you learn that sometimes the cleanest line is no reply at all, unraveling the truth behind the lies. I never got a timeline from her. I did not ask, but patterns speak. The distance had been growing for weeks. The late nights, the vague plans, the new stories that never matched, the recycled photo with old details. It was not a one-off. It built piece by piece until it showed its face at that table. What I can say with confidence, duration, it had been at least a few weeks, probably longer. The shift did not start that night. It started when the effort faded, then the secrets stacked up. Method, secrecy, not privacy. New phone habits, deleted threads, foggy plans that never added up. Opportunity, easy openings. Work nights, college friend dinners, and solo time that stretched. Why did she do it? I cannot read her mind. I can name common reasons people choose this path, and none of them excuse it. Validation. She wanted fresh attention without facing the work at home. Avoidance. Hard talks take guts. Cheating avoids the breakup talk until it blows up. Comfort. Two tracks feel safe until they collide. She tried to keep both. Ego. Some people chase the high of being wanted by more than one person. Exit strategy. Sabotage is a way out. Make it messy so you do not have to say the words. Her text gave me her position, even without a confession. Deny, minimize, move on. I did not need more data. The why does not change the what, and the what was simple. I saw her on a date with another guy, holding his hand, smiling like we were a story she had already closed. If you're sorting your own version of this, hold to the facts you can touch. What you saw, what was said, what kept repeating. You do not have to build a perfect timeline to protect your peace. The truth often shows itself in small, stubborn ways. And once you see it, you do not need permission to be done. Healing after the heartbreak. Steps I took to move on. The shock faded, then the ache set in. Healing was not a big moment for me. It was a string of small wins that slowly stacked up. I kept my circle tight, stayed offline, and treated my peace like a password. If you are in the thick of it, this is the part that actually helped. First days of pain and isolation. The first week hit like a flu. My chest felt heavy, sleep went weird, and the house sounded too loud. I cried in short bursts when the quiet got thick. It came out of nowhere like a wave, then it passed. I let it move through rather than fight it. I kept my boundaries firm. Blocking her gave me space to think. No late night checking, no hopping for a confession, no doom scroll through her profiles. It was not petty, it was self-respect. I also reached for support even when I did not feel social. I picked 2 people who show up for me and told them the truth without filters. That gave me a place to spill without getting lost in advice I did not ask for. Here's what those early days looked like in practice. Cry, then hydrate. I let the tears happen, then drank water and stepped outside for air. Hard block everywhere. Phone, socials, shared services. It killed the urge to check. One safe confidant. I called my best friend and said, "Please just listen." Short routines: make the bed, shower, eat something with protein, walk. Simple steps kept the day from collapsing. Write it down, a few lines each night on what I felt and what I did right. Even I went for a walk counted. I did not chase closure. I chose silence and let the pain taper instead of feeding it with contact. The isolation was not punishment, it was a pause to reset my nervous system, rebuilding my life one day at a time. After the fog lifted a bit, I rebuilt my days with small anchors, nothing fancy. Just steady actions that reminded me I still had a life that fits me, exercise that burns the noise. I hit the gym 4 days a week, not to reinvent myself but to move grief out of my body. Lifts, rows, and long walks. I tracked reps and sleep, not just weight. Progress felt like proof I was still moving. Hobbies that pull focus. I picked up things that need hands and attention. Cooking proper meals, learning a new coffee pour, and messing with basic guitar tabs. The point was not to get great, it was to give my brain a different track. New social circles. I said yes to a coworker's rec soccer invite. I joined a Saturday morning run group. No forced stories about my breakup, just new faces, inside jokes, and plans that had nothing to do with her. Clean digital spaces. I curated my feeds, unfollowed triggers, muted mutuals, and followed accounts that felt sane. The internet can mess with a healing brain. I made it boring on purpose. Goal posts I could hit. I set 3 basics each week. Cook at home 4 nights, 2 cardio sessions, 1 plan with a friend. Small targets built momentum. A few swaps helped more than I expected. Solo nights with purpose. Movie on, phone off, lights low. I let quiet be normal again. Structured Sundays, groceries, laundry, week plan. Future me always thanked past me on Wednesday. Money check-ins. I reviewed subscriptions, canceled old stuff, and started a small savings auto transfer. It felt like control. The changes were not flashy, but day by day my life felt like mine again. The rough nights still showed up. I met them with a walk, a shower, or a call, not a text I would regret. Lessons that changed how I love now. The breakup hurt, but it taught me clean rules I now keep close. These are the takeaways I carry into anything new. Clear communication beats guessing. I do not overread vibes anymore. If something feels off, I ask early and directly. Short, honest check-ins stop small issues from turning into distance. I want someone who can say the hard thing without punishing me for asking. Privacy is healthy. Secrecy is a red flag. Everyone needs space. Secrecy is different. Hiding phones, shifting stories, or deleting threads on repeat is not normal. I honor my gut now. If the facts keep bending, I step back. Trust needs light. Boundaries are not threats, they are filters. Blocking, leaving, or pausing contact is not drama, it is protection. I state my limits early and keep them even when it is inconvenient. The right person will treat those lines with care. Patterns matter more than promises. Words are easy. Routines tell the truth. I watch for consistency, mutual effort, and repair after conflict. If behavior and stories do not match, I believe the behavior. Bonus rule I did not expect. I do not need a perfect ending to move on. Closure came from my actions, not her words. I chose peace, built a life, and let the story end where it ended. If you are healing, pick one small action today and repeat it tomorrow. Drink water, lift something heavy, text a friend, or step outside for 10 minutes. Stack enough of those and your life gets wider than the pain. That is how I moved on. Not fast, just steady. Conclusion: catching your partner on a date is a clean break you never asked for. My girlfriend cheating story still plays in my head sometimes, but the meaning changed. It went from shock to a clear reminder of what I will accept. Patterns mattered more than promises. Secrecy, vague plans, and a phone that suddenly lived face down were the real warning signs. If this hit close to home, trust your gut early. Privacy is healthy, secrecy is not. Keep your peace first, set boundaries, and choose actions over debates. Silence can be closure when the facts speak for themselves. Then rebuild in small, steady steps. Move your body, clean your feed, call your people, and stack simple wins. That is how you get your life back. Growth came with clarity. I ask direct questions now, I honor my limits, and I take people at their actions. I am stronger, calmer, and open to real love that matches words with effort. If your own girlfriend cheating story brought you here, you are not alone. Your future gets wider once you stop chasing the past. Share your story in the comments so others can learn and feel less alone. What signs did you miss at first, and what helped you move on? Thanks for reading, and for being part of a community that turns pain into wisdom. More posts on healing, dating after betrayal, and spotting red flags are coming soon.